Localization, new skills to learn, skills to rethink, new roles to develop and integrate. Let's begin with what do we mean by localization? Localization is making text both linguistically and culturally accurate to whichever region it will be distributed in. The process of localization acknowledges that a direct translation is not enough to connect with an audience. Localization is also utilized when you don't need to translate text into another language, but need to cater for cultural differences. American and British English are perfect examples of this scenario. Americans use the term bathroom or restroom, whereas Brits use the term loo when referring to the same exact thing. Localization also entails adapting a product line to address the expectations and preferences of consumers in different nations and cultures. The menus of McDonald's provide prime examples of this. The main overlap between translation and localization resides in the linguistic transfer of the original content from the source language to the target language. Translation is one of the several services encompassed in the localization process. So, in addition to translation, the localization process may also include adapting graphics, modifying the content layout, converting to local currencies, addressing local regulations, and more. Localization is one of the four independent processes collectively referred to as GUILD: globalization, internationalization, localization, and translation. Therefore, awareness of the project scope is vital if internationalization and localization efforts are to be included in the content life cycle. Ideally, the early phases of the localization project should match the initial stages of the original product development. At least, the localization team should be involved in those development phases to raise awareness about the future linguistic and cultural issues that need to be taken into account. So who are the players involved in the localization process? Well, project managers act as middlemen between the client and the translators, but they also interact with engineers, testers, desktop publishers, proofreaders, and so on. As a result, proper setup and planning are required. What lies ahead? As we have seen, there is much more than language replacement involved in localization. So we have moved from translation studies to the techniques of intercultural studies. Also, there is a renewed focus on content localization. Content translation projects are now often considered localization projects simply because of the complex environments in which they are produced. Finally, there is a growing importance of open standards for the development of TM tools that support different file formats. We could say that what's really new to the localization process are two main factors: the active cooperation between translators and development engineers, and the need for a comprehensive understanding of technological issues on the part of translators. It almost seems like two worlds are now colliding. On the one hand, software localization with a strong focus on technical skills and technical complexity for translators, and on the other hand, content localization with a strong focus on linguistic skills and technical simplicity. With the internet constantly merging platform and content, the localization industry will have to rapidly adapt to these new requirements. Thank you.